You don't know what you're missing until you have what's real, especially with ChatGPT and all the stuff that's out there now. People are generating copy. Yes, they're generating words, but do they convert? Do they do the right things? Most of it is no. And it is almost like this mirage. And that's the challenge. We've had a lot of copy. We've had a lot of stuff done, but most of it's been crap. I'm going to tell you, it's not been great. It's not converted. And we are actually seeing with you guys legitimate, trackable, reportable conversions directly related to copy and copywriting. Overall, people are telling me, this is something you and I have not talked about this, but I have two different things. Number one, I have a lot of people now saying, I get your emails. I really appreciate it. And I like your content. I have people now at shows on LinkedIn, at places that they see me. They're like, hey, I get your newsletter. It's great content. It's great content. So I think that there, plus the consistency of having you in play, has taken a massive load off of my team, which we've not talked about any of that stuff, but it's noticeable to me as the CEO. So it's really easy to not justify that cost. But I'm going to tell you, as somebody that didn't hire a copywriter, the way your retainer and your system works, it's not cheap, but it's very worth it. And when you have ROI tied to it and everything is measured, and so me to you, make sure you keep doing that, because it's very easy for me to justify, okay, I spent $3K on that campaign. I got $56K direct cash collected to this point, and all those are MRR deals. So it's just going to stack up. So it's very easy for me to tie that ROI into you. But you guys that are out there on the fence, you don't know what you have until you add something like Dropkick Copy. And Nabil, you are a special individual, and I think you're very good extremely good at what you do.
I'm back with another client success interview, and I'm here today with my client and also, I hope, my friend, Chris Weiser of Seven Figure MSP.
Oh, I mean, you did not ask me that. I did not approve.
Chris, go ahead and please introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it's good to be here with Nabil. Really like everything we're doing together. And my name's Chris Weiser, founder, CEO of our corporate entity is the Weiser Agency. I have various brands underneath that, products, brands, high ticket offers, etc. But basically, we are in the coaching space, teaching. I was an IT company owner for about 10 years. I picked up and I sold that company. I had a good 7-figure exit, picked up, and now I teach who I was in the IT industry worldwide. So we are the IT industry's #1 cybersecurity sales coach. So that's what we do now, teach these guys how to sell. In fact, it's really hard teaching IT guys how to sell, for the record.
And you're, just for the record, you're a 7-figure consulting company going on 8 figures.
We're well into 8 figures, actually.
So,
Also, a
like,
lot of public speaking. I'm based here in Austin, Texas. You actually see, just had some movie posters framed. I'm an executive producer, partner in a movie studio. So that's some of the stuff that we have that's on Netflix and Amazon Prime right now. Also speak at a marketing party and various other places around here in Austin as well.
it's safe to say you're a big deal.
Just ask me. Yeah, exactly.
We've been working together since pretty much the beginning of the year. Have you worked with copywriters in the past? And if so, what has your experience been like?
It's funny because there's a lot of people that are, I've worked with a lot of digital marketing agencies. I've worked with a lot of social media managers, digital marketing agencies, ad buyers, etc. They all are copywriters if you ask them. They all write copy. And I think I don't want to say they all suck, but they all think they're really good at it. Here's a really big thing that you don't know what you're missing until you find out what you're missing, kind of thing. So when we met you, and I met you through a referral, my CRO, Michelle, knew you, brought you in, been very happy with the relationship. Like you said, we've become friends, which is cool. You don't know what you're missing until you have what's real. And that's what I will say, because so especially with ChatGPT and all the stuff that's out there now, people are generating copy. Yes, they're generating words, but do they convert? Do they do the right things? Most of it is no. And it is almost like this mirage. And that's the challenge. So you're doing stuff and you're getting stuff done. And one of the things I say, in fact, my screensaver on my laptop here is don't confuse activity with achievement. And that's literally almost applicable to the copy thing too, because yes, we're getting things done, but are we actually getting towards the goal? So most of it's been no. We've had a lot of copy. We've had a lot of stuff done, but most of it's been crap. I'm going to tell you, it's not been great. It's not converted. And we are actually seeing with you guys legitimate, trackable reportable conversions directly related to copy and copywriting, reactivation sequences, landing pages. It's the first time in my career as an agency owner, which is now 10 years deep, that I've had that. So something I didn't even know, right? It's crazy.
And so how were you guys handling your copy before we started working together? Because obviously before we showed up, you were already a 7-figure company. I guess that's the power of having a good offer and a good product and
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
clients results.
we still had conversions, but it was almost like growth by accident at times. Yes, I actually, like, one of my big, I didn't go to college. I didn't have any degrees, anything. I had no certifications in IT. So I'm all self-built. I'm self-taught. So a lot of it is minimal copy, be on video, crappy looking landing pages. I also went through the whole funnels, learning all that stuff. Like we all grew up together on some of that stuff. And ugly pages converted really well. So I did really well with a very minimal page that converted, strictly Chris on video. And then we like almost fumbled our way through the copy, but we didn't use email. One of the things that we've done, and I think you noticed this in our email lists and all, we built a good database of lists, of names and all these other things. We just weren't really utilizing it very well. So most of it wasn't going back and doing reactivation sequences. It wasn't using landing pages that actually the copy converted it. So it was mostly just Chris out on stage, Chris on video. Obviously, COVID was a big benefit for where a lot of people saw COVID as a negative. COVID was a huge accelerant for us because we were remote group digital before remote group digital was mandated. So when the mandates hit, we didn't change. We actually went like that, whereas everybody else went like that, and they needed a place to go and listen to. And it was really me. As you can tell, I don't have a problem talking on camera. Like, I'm good at that. But the copy thing was always a struggle for me. I'm very ADD. I struggle to sit there and write where I'm actually pretty good. I was an English kid, but I struggle with it to getting it so it's succinct and converting. So it's just been a dramatic difference. And to actually have, and here's another factor, to have an outsourced partner that you can work with and you can really trust is hard. I will tell you, I've been through 30 different agencies and social media companies and all these other things, and everybody says they can do X. And rarely are they doing X, and they're surely not delivering Y. They're usually delivering like A, and it's not very good. A great example, I literally, this morning, like we're mid-June right now. I know you don't necessarily want dates. I'm sure we're mid-June right now. Had a call this morning with a new ads company that we're looking at to try and improve. And they're like, well, just, Facebook ads to webinars. I'm like, okay, give me some freaking strategy. And I had to paint the whole strategy for the guy. And he's, that's a pretty good strategy. I'm like, oh, he's been telling you the strategy? So it's mostly the same stuff with copy.
So you mentioned that you had built this large contact database. I know when I came in, you have 50,000 names on your list.
Yeah.
And you weren't really utilizing it very well. Do you have an idea of how many calls you were booking from email? If you don't know off the top of your head, it's fine.
This is funny. I don't have my finger on the pulse of that specifically, but I know we're 50 plus converted calls and sales, and we're seeing good MRR. And we are all high ticket, between 1,500 and 4K a month is our ticket, depending on the level of product they're in. There's a couple different products they can have. So we're pretty high ticket on a minimum 12-year commit. So if you take 1,500 times 12, it's 18K American or USD per year or per sale per ticket. And then it just goes up from there. So we're well into the 50K a month range. I know that. I care about MRR is what I look at. I do have my, I look at conversions and some of that stuff, but it's not, I don't know exactly what it is directly.
Because you have other people, I guess, to handle that stuff. You're like,
yeah. And honestly, I have a CRO, like, so I'm head now, and I have a whole sales team underneath me. And then I have a delivery team, which is our service delivery side. I manage both along with, I got to run this office. It's all me here for the record. I live in Austin, so I'm the only one in headquarters. Nice. Cause I got a couch in there. I can watch TV. I can hang out. Nobody bothers me.
yeah, it's nice to have the run of the place. So the first campaign we did with you was a sales activation campaign. And I've seen the numbers myself, but do you want to tell the audience how well the campaign did?
I don't know exactly the specific numbers, but I know that it converted well, especially in a place that we've never converted. So we've never gone back to our list and said, hey, you've already been doing this. And one of the things that we were watching is we've all gone through in the last 6, 9, 12 months here, all these email changes with the DKIMs and the SPFs and all this, the deliverability challenges. So we were trying to make sure that we had very good opted in people. So we were going to use this to go back and like basically refresh the list. And we actually converted. I know Michelle told me we converted really well out of it and she's happy with it. Again, don't know the numbers specifically off the top of my head, but all I care about is MRR. And I know all that stuff converted into, again, 50K a month of MRR and growing. So something to be said for that. We're talking $500,000 plus a year already.
Yeah, I actually got the numbers from Michelle just to find out, obviously.
Well, I'm all ears, man.
That's all I care about as well, is whether you guys are making money. Like, you guys are not making money, then I'm not doing my job.
And there's so many of these agencies that are like, I did all this stuff. I'm like, okay, that's great that you did all this stuff, but it didn't actually convert. Like, all I care about, and this is a great example for the rest of you guys that are either watching this as potential copywriters or even agency owners or whatever you're going to do. All I care about running an 8-figure a year company, agency, whatever you want to call it, all I care about is conversion. So you could give me 10,000 leads. And if they convert into 0, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. And even if you convert them into meetings and they don't convert into sales, I don't care much about that. Don't try and put this giant feather in your hat that it's so great because you got all these conversions. If it didn't result in dollars, don't talk to me. Like, that's how I am. When we talked about doing this call, I was able to go back and tie directly dollars to Nabil. And that's a huge factor. So here's another thing that I will tell you. If you're not measuring, if you're not reporting, and if you guys on your side, one of the things that you did really was you have very specific UTMs that are directly tied to your stuff. Because if you can't measure and come back to me, prove to me that you're worth the spend. Well, you can be like, okay, boom, boom. Here's what okay, great, boom. But if you can't prove to me that, don't even waste your time talking. So that's the kind of stuff that's really valuable to me. And to see you driving that strategy on the Dropkick side is really key also to me as the decision maker.
So I'll go right into earning my keep right now. So from that one campaign, I think we booked 36 calls, and those 36 calls turned into 11 sales and 57K in revenue.
Yeah,
and then I believe
I had to. That sounds right. Yeah.
And then your investment for that campaign was 3K, 20X.
We paid that much?
Yeah. So it was almost a 20X return, which is pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And it's actually propelled you to be on staff with us effectively. You're an outsourced on staffer now, but it's taken that in. And now we actually branched out. Not only were you working with Michelle, but we are actually had you build some stuff with Lindsay, one of our coaches, to deliver to her clients too. So now we're using you not only for our copy, but we're giving copy down to our clients as well.
Yeah. And I can see in the client group, they're posting about, hey, I just got a first positive reply with the cold outreach campaign that I wrote for you guys, and people are getting results, and the emails are getting opened, and they're not in spam anymore. The emails are getting delivered. So that was pretty cool, actually.
And it's one thing to not be in spam, but it's a whole nother thing to actually convert into an opened email. It's a whole nother thing to convert into an actual meeting or some type of then there's the close. So there's all these steps to it.
And I also have some results, because when we started working together on retainer in April, like the first thing Michelle told me to do was we need to fix our email deliverability because we're getting really poor open rates, and I think we're going to spam.
We definitely had a major problem with that because we actually picked up, I don't know if you know this, but we picked up and moved from Active Campaign to using WiseTrack, which is our white labeled go high level. And now we are one throat to choke kind of thing. We had stuff all over the place. And it had been, I don't want to say neglected, but not well maintained for a couple of years. And Michelle and her team and you were able to really fine tune that stuff well.
And so we were able to, within a couple of months, we were able to do an 80% increase in your open rates, aggregate account wide, and also have a 96% reduction in your bounce rate.
Think about that. That's insane right there.
Yeah. So it was just a few little tweaks. The cool thing is about that, people tend to be quite apprehensive or scared about, oh, is my email going to go to spam? And what about all the Gmail filters and Apple privacy and all that? But 90% of your email delivery is pretty much under your control. As long as you have the proper setup in place and you're taking care to send to people who've only...
One other tip I'll say, you're spot on with that. One other tip I'll say is I see a lot of people that are new coming into either doing email campaigns or reactivation campaigns, is they try and cold email off their main domain also, and it just tanks their deliverability. You don't do that. Like, you should have, if you're going to do cold email and cold lead gen or cold outbound, do that in a separate cold area with separate domains, all separate stuff, not even get it off of it. Do it on a completely different platform. There's various different places you can do that. But then do your nurture, your opted in stuff. Fine, you can do that on your main domain, but make sure it's maintained, and then you have proper copy being written. That's been a game changer, like those two things. And now we are using full go high level with, I believe we have the lead connector backend with high level. So you guys that are high level guys will know what that is. So we're doing it exactly the way that we're pitching it to our clients. And we have hundreds of I think we're 480 affiliates inside of high level as well.
And so did you notice anything else that was remarkable or surprising after we took over your list and started mailing for you?
Overall, people are telling me, this is something you and I have not talked about this, but I have two different things. Number one, I have a lot of people now saying, I get your emails. I really appreciate it. And I like your content. One thing, we have our MSP Buzz, and we work with the MSP, managed service provider industry is what we do. So if you guys that are watching that, it's basically outsourced IT, and it's worldwide. So we're in every English speaking country in the world we work with. And so we've added the newsletter, we've added a bunch of things. I have people now at shows on LinkedIn, at places that they see me, they're like, hey, I get your newsletter. It's great content. So I think that there, plus the consistency of having you in play, has taken a massive load off of my team, which we've not talked about any of that stuff, but it's noticeable to me as the CEO.
Yeah, there's like it's not a direct ROI, but it's an indirect ROI in terms of.
It's all the same, because if you can get, and a lot of people are, especially IT guys, come to me and they're like, okay, I have a monthly newsletter. And I'm like, okay, you're not emailing your people enough. And they're like, oh, I don't want to email people. Here's the deal, guys. If you have good, valuable copy, think about this. If you had somebody sending you stuff really relevant every day to the point where you're like, this is really relevant, I really want to read it, there's no emails that are too many if it's valuable. If it's garbage, once a month is too much, honestly. Like if it literally just goes into their trash bin, as soon as they get it, it's just clogging up their email box. So the whole big thing, why you bring a copywriter in, is to make the content so valuable that people want to consume it, versus it being a nuisance or a headache or something that just takes up space in their inbox or their landing pages. And one thing I think we should get into, Nabil, also is looking at writing our ad copy too, because that's a problem also. Like it's like stuff that people need to look at. And I'll go back again to say the ads companies, they don't know what they're doing.
That's included in your retainer, the ad copy.
I don't even think Michelle is right now, because we've been struggling all over it, but we got to make sure that's part of it.
You get the landing pages, the emails.
We've redone all the landing pages. So I think that's probably next on her list, because it's just been, a revamp for the last 4 months or however long, 4 or 5 months we've been working together.
Last question. What would you say to business owners who are on the fence about hiring copywriters or ghostwriters or having somebody else write their copy for them?
You don't know what you're missing until you have it. So it's really easy to not justify that cost. But I'm going to tell you, as somebody that didn't hire a copywriter, I'll also say some of them, like, it makes it hard because copywriters have gotten this notorious kind of self-earned designation that copywriters are insanely expensive. And I've definitely been pitched by some insanely expensive ones. So it makes it very cost prohibitive. The way your retainer and your system works, it's not cheap, but it's very worth it. And when you have ROI tied to it and everything is measured, and so me to you, make sure you keep doing that, because it's very easy for me to justify, okay, I spent $3K on that campaign. I got $56K direct cash collected to this point, and all those are MRR deals. So it's just going to stack up. So it's very easy for me to tie that ROI into you. But you guys that are out there on the fence, you don't know what you have until you add something like Dropkick Copy. And Nabil, you are a special individual, and I think you're very good extremely good at what you do. You're based in Dubai. I'm in Austin, Texas. There's been zero issues with that. So if Nabil being in Dubai concerns you as an American or a North American or even this side of the world person, it's not a factor. Not been a factor at all. In fact, we talk every day pretty much now. We're doing a bi-weekly check-in together, all these different things. this is well worth it to me. And I can't wait to see where the next 6 to 12 to 24 months takes us. Because I think we're just sniffing success right now.
I also think we're just getting started because we haven't even gotten to writing the ads yet.
I think you're starting to see how, like you mentioned the big deal thing that I'd laugh at that, but you're starting to see how big of a name 7-figure MSP is in the industry. And when you have that, man, it's just, we can start to take off. So I'm really excited about that whole thing.
Another cool thing is that you have a strong vision for brand and you're willing to invest in that versus somebody who's just like 100% just ads, direct response, sale. You do a lot of stuff to actually build your brand, which actually helps with the marketing in a way.
It really does. And there's all those campaigns and the stuff we were talking about earlier. We have Facebook groups and school groups and Reddit channels and all this different stuff. You have to be willing to invest in all that stuff because while it's branding, I get it, it's branding. Rule of thumb is I want to put my name in their mouth. And that's a really big concept because a lot of people are like, I got to get great on SEO and that's all I'm going to rely on in SEO. The problem with SEO, like I'm not going to debate that SEO is super powerful and super valuable, but the problem with it is you have to wait for them to think that they're ready versus getting in front of them, bringing up stuff that they didn't necessarily realize they were ready for. So that comes into the branding and the visionary stuff. Like you've already seen that I'm big on vision. Like I really push and I'm pushing the envelope. I'm known as a very polarizing speaker in the MSP industry. So I'm always out there pushing different concepts, and there's a whole Reddit community called Chris Weiser Sucks. I don't know if you even know that, but there's a whole, that's where that t-shirt and all stuff that we have, the squeezy balls, that all comes from some guys that think that I'm crazy because I'm like, hey, why don't you run your IT company like a business and use it to make money versus giving away your services? And they're like, oh, you don't tell MSPs how to make money. So they created all this stuff around Chris Weiser Sucks because I like to be polarizing. I like to be a visionary that also crosses over into business growth. And then sometimes, and this is what happened to us, all my vision actually came into fruition. So my vision was in the IT industry 5 years ago. Let's just say, let's go back 5 years to July 2019. Go back 5 years. Cybersecurity wasn't a thing. It was there. Hacking was a thing. But now you look at it, it's like the precipice of the precipice. I said 3, 4, 5 years ago, all this stuff is going to happen in the IT industry, hated me for it. Now they're like, holy crap, Weiser was right. So we keep pushing and you keep pushing and you keep pushing. So the same stuff is true in sales and marketing and copy and email and ads and YouTube channels and Reddit communities and all this stuff.
There you go. You came for a client success interview and get
We did a coaching call.
marketing.
I love it.
And this will be super, super valuable to the business owners watching this because it's one thing for me to say it as the guy who's selling them the marketing services and branding and shit like that. But then as the actual business owner who's doing it and seeing the benefits, it's something else entirely.
Totally agree with that.
Chris, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man. I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Sure. It's good to see you. Thanks, guys. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. I think it's yes to Chris Weiser on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Feel free to DM me. We could talk trash about the deal together without him being there.